Good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to Lake Stevens Vikings varsity baseball here at the halfway point of the 2019 regular season. My name is Payne Patchett here from Lake Stevens High School on a cloudy, windy afternoon here in the second of two conference games between the Lake Stevens Vikings and the Monroe Bearcats. Monroe trying to avenge from Monday's result at Monroe High School, in which the Vikings won 5-3, highlighted by a 3-run first inning. On the mound for the Bearcats will be sophomore Ryan Lynch, who enters today's game with 3 wins and no losses in 5 games. He has struck out 22 batters, walking only 2. That is an ERA of 0.88. He'll face off against Devin McWaters with 1 win and 1 loss with an ERA of 5.6. When we come back, it'll be the top of the first inning here from Lake Stevens High School. It'll be McWaters who will face off against the top 3 hitters for Monroe. Grant Davis, the third baseman, Keegan Veely, who Monday played on second base, and today he'll play behind the plate, and Luke Klein, the center fielder, at the 3 spot. And we are now back in the top of the first inning here from Lake Stevens High School, the second of 2 conference games between the Vikings and the Monroe Bearcats. Devin McWaters on the mound against leadoff hitter, third baseman number 18, Grant Davis. To wind up in the first pitch. Strike one, looking to start off the game. And the first 3 batters for the Monroe Bearcats, Grant Davis at third base. The catcher, Keegan Veely, he played at second base on Monday, and Luke Klein, the center fielder. And the windup from Devin, 0-1. Outside, count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The lineup for the 6-3 Monroe Bearcats, who are 2-1 in conference play, as told by manager Eric Chartrand. The first 3 hitters, Grant Davis, Keegan Veely, and Luke Klein, brings us to the middle of the order for Andrew Haight, who is playing at first instead of behind the plate. 1-1. Upstairs, ball 2. At the 5 spot is Ryan Lynch, who will be on the mound today instead of at first base. At the 6 spot is the designated hitter Morgan Granich. At the 7 spot is right fielder Hayden Comer, moving up from the 9 spot that he was in on Monday. The 2-1. Foul ball. This one going over the fence behind home plate. Count is even at 2-2. At the 8 spot, playing at second base, is Elijah Moore. He was one of the 3 pitchers for the Bearcats in Monday's Lake Stevens win. At the 9th spot at left field is Nate Kane, number 13, who was a reserve and pinch ran once on Monday. The 2-2. Outside, full count. Devin facing a full count on the first at-bat of the afternoon. And the windup and the payoff. Hard hit ball. This one going into right center, and this one will fall between Cameron Austin and Trey Long. A leadoff single for Grant Davis to start the top of the first inning. Now bring up the starting catcher, Keegan Veely, entering the game with a .333 batting average of 6 for 18, 4 runs, an RBI, a double, 7 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And on Monday's game, he went 0 for 2 with a pair of walks and a pair of groundouts to the shortstop, Hunter Zelasco. And McWaters' first pitch. Strike 1 looking. McWaters entering this game is his 4th game and his 4th start of the year. 1 win and 1 loss with an ERA of 5.6. In 10 innings, he has allowed 10 hits, 8 earned runs, has walked 10 batters and struck out 10 as well. The 0-1 and a 1-hopper to Tommy. Grant Davis stays at first. Count is even at 1-1. And the defensive positions for the Lake Stevens Vikings, as told by manager Josh White, on the mound is Devin McWaters, and behind the plate is Tommy Lindgren. And the infield at third base is Theron Perkins. Shortstop is Hunter Zelasco, the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. At second base is Aaron Lampinen, and at first base is Tate Brust. On the outfield, left field is Tanner Lynn. Center field is Cameron Austin. And at right field is Trey Long. Throw to first, not in time. And Ethan Jansen slated to hit for the pitcher McWaters down at the 9 spot for the Lake Stevens lineup. And Grant Davis, that was his 4th hit of the year. The 2-1 low for a ball 3. And Devin getting the sign from Tommy, steps off. And Devin, the 3-1. Low, ball 4. Monroe has runners on first and second. To start the top of the first inning, here is Luke Klein, the center fielder, timeout by Lake Stevens. 2 batters into the game. Assistant coach Paul Manabusen talking with Devin and Tommy Lindgren as Luke Klein walks up to the plate. He has the most hits out of any Monroe batter in the lineup. He has 9 for 30. With 7 runs, 6 RBIs, 2 doubles, a triple, and the team's only home run. He was walked 3 times, struck out 3 times, and was hit 3 times. Entering today.
Eric. Have you practicing that? Eric. We're practicing that 3 play yesterday. Let's see it. Hey, Dev. Go, baby Dev.
And Klein, the center fielder, on Monday, he went 0 for 4 with a bunt pop out in the first inning and then a 3 pop outs after that first pitch. Outside, gets where it hits the backstop, goes straight back to Tommy, and the runners will advance. Grant Davis the third and Keegan Veely the second as the count starts at 1-0.
Take her out.
And Devin, the 1-0. Hits the backstop, ball 2.
Work out of the windup if you want. You got to say something. Come on, Dev, relax, baby. You're in control. Come on, Levin. Serious, kids. You got a D behind you now. Let's go.
Devin, 2-0. Strike 1 looking. And the reserves for the Monroe Bearcats, Jacob Sprague, Luke Zamolik, who is the starting left fielder in Monday's game, Andy Garordo, Brady Hinckley, and Chase Sager. 2-1. Devin swung on, foul ball. It's the backstop. Count is even at 2-2. Timeout by Luke Klein. On Monday's result, Lake Stevens beating Monroe. The Vikings were the only team in the Westco Conference that started off the season winless, that got their first conference win. The 3 other teams, Mariner, Kamiak, and Glacier Peak, all lost. A 2-2. Swing and a miss. That is
Hey, throw it to first. Just toss it to first. No, he called foul. Did he call foul? Eric, foul ball. Toss it to first. Toss it to first.
and it's going to be a slow call. And Luke Klein, he is actually out. It is a swing and a miss. Devin threw to Tate Brust at first base. The infield umpire had called him out. And that is strike 3. Luke Klein, he thought it was a foul. Now, Eric Chartrand, the Monroe manager, now walking up to talk to the home plate umpire. What happened was that the ball got away from Tommy. Luke Klein swung at it. Josh White, and Lake Stevens manager, telling Devin to throw the ball to first. He first asked the home plate umpire if it was a foul. He said he didn't see it. Then he told Devin to throw to first to Tate Brust, and he threw it to first. And the infield umpire called him out. And that'll be the first out in the top of the first.
Hey, Devin, you got to find a way to reset yourself, okay? Like, don't let it speed up. You're in control.
And the call will stand. That will be a strikeout for Devin McWaters. And it'll be the first out in the top of the first inning. Runners are still at second and third for Andrew Haight, the first baseman. A very interesting way to get your first out of the game, out of the way. The starting first baseman, 182 batting average, 4 of 22. Devin, the first pitch. Strike 1. And Devin the 0-1. Upstairs, count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Haight, he is playing at first base today instead of playing behind the plate. Back on Monday, timeout by the first baseman.
Hey, we still need that out. Still need that out.
And the 1-1, Devin. Has a nice pitch, but it'll be a ball too.
Good spot.
And Devin now the 2-1. Strike 2, count is even. And Devin McWaters doing a good job of picking himself up after allowing the leadoff single and walk. And after the wild pitch when Luke Klein was up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, Devin the pitch. And that will hit Andrew Haight. The bases are loaded.
Hey, you've got to force on.
It'll hit him right on the arm.
Know what we're doing. Yeah, we got corners.
And now bring up the starting pitcher for the Monroe Bearcats at the 5 spot, Ryan Lynch. A .250 average, 6 for 24, 6 runs, 3 RBIs. He has hit 2 doubles, has walked 4 times, and struck out 8 times, including twice in Monday's game. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1.
Tommy.
And Devin, no balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Strike 2 looking. Devin with a hot start against the sophomore counterpart. And Devin getting the sign from Tommy. Wind up 0-2. Upstairs, ball 1. Devin still ahead of the count. Wind up in the 1-2. Upstairs. Count is even. Tommy keeping the ball in play.
Hit the button. Hit the button. Come on, Devin.
And the wind up 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ryan Lynch, for the 3rd consecutive at-bat, has struck out swinging. Going back to Monday. Now here is the number 6 hitter, one of the fiercest hitters on the Monroe lineup, Morgan Granich, the designated hitter,
Somebody keep it on the infield.
with a team-leading .381 average, 8 hits and 21 at-bats. First pitch, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 1. 8 for 21, 4 runs, 5 RBIs, 2 doubles, a triple, has walked 4 times, and has struck out 9 times. He has struck out more than he has had base hits. Entering today, the 0-1 in the dirt. Count is even. And so for the other Wesco 4A games, Cascade is playing at Mariner. At one point, the game was tied at 5 going into the 6th inning, but then Cascade exploded for 12 runs and won the game 17-5. The 1-1 by Devin. Check swing, ball 2. Kamiak playing at Jackson, with Jackson winning that game 4-2, and then Mount Vernon winning at home against Glacier Peak by a score of 8-4. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike from McWaters to Morgan Granich. The windup in the 2-1. Fly ball, that will go into short center. That is almost caught by Lampinen. 1 run's going to score. And the throw to the plate is not in time. It's a 2-run single by Morgan Granich. A bloop single in the short right center. Lampinen almost caught that one. Davis will score from 3rd. Veely will score from 2nd. And Andrew Haight will move to 3rd. And that'll bring up Hayden Comer, the right fielder. And Devin, first pitch.
Good.
Strike one looking.
Here we go. Remember, step off, look in, throw it to second.
Hey, 2 down. Go, Dev. Dev, you got it, baby.
And McWaters 0-1. Upstairs, count is even. Devin looking at Greenwich over at first base, 1-1, the windup. Outside, ball 2. Trying to pitch out. Hayden Comer 0 and 0.62 batting average. Went 1 for 16 as 2 runs. Got his first RBI back on Monday at an RBI ground out, the 2-1. Upstairs, ball 3.
Slow it down.
He's also walked twice and has struck out 7 times on the year. And the pitch gets hit to backstop, and the bases are loaded again. And brings up the number 8 hitter, Elijah Moore, his first plate appearance against Lake Stevens this year. Entering this game, he went 2 for 13, a 154 average, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and a 2-bagger to his name. He's walked twice and struck out 6 times. And Devin, the first pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. And Devin, the windup, the 1-0. Strike 1 looking.
Right there, here we go.
Right down the middle.
Go, Dev, throw away here.
McWaters even in the count. Bases are loaded again. This time it's Andrew Haight at third, Morgan Greenwich at second, and Hayden Comer at first. A 1-2 swing and a missed strike 2. Almost identical to what Lake Stevens had in the top of the first. They scored some runs early in the top of the first inning of Monday's game. But it had guys on base. The 1-2. Strike 3 called. Yeah, strike 3 called.
No, that's 3. That's 3.
Home plate umpire checking. And it is 3. That will end the top of the first. Devin McWaters striking out the side but allowing a couple of runs. Very identical to what the Vikings had in the top of the first of Monday's game. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on. Monroe takes an early 2-0 lead as Ryan Lynch warms up on the mound for his 5th start of the year. They'll face off against the first 3 hitters. Tanner Lynn, the left fielder, Hunter Zalasko, the shortstop, and Theron Perkins, the third baseman, as Lynch is coming off a career performance throwing 11 strikeouts against Glacier Peak last week. And we are now back in the bottom of the first inning. Monroe starting off with a 2-0 lead off of Devin McWaters. Got a couple of hits off of him, but he was able to strike out the side to get out of it. Here's Ryan Lynch against Tanner Lynn, first pitch. Strike 1 looking. Ryan Lynch, the sophomore, will face off against Tanner Lynn, the left fielder, Hunter Zalasko, the shortstop, and Theron Perkins, the third baseman. Count starts off at 0-1. Lynch, the 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Ball 1. Lead 1-1. Strike 2. Count starts off at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2 chopper, this one fielded by the first baseman Andrew Haight. And a close play They got the first out of the bottom of the first. Now bring in the shortstop, Hunter Zelasco. Ryan Lynch entering this game, 3 wins, no losses, an ERA of 0.88. First pitch is a ball. Just gets outside the strike zone. He has pitched in his 5th game, 16 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs, and 22 strikeouts. The 1-0. Strike 1 looking. And in the last appearance against Glacier Peak, in which Monroe has won 9-1, he threw a complete game, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 11 of those 22 strikeouts. The 1-1 swing and a missed strike 2. And the Lake Stevens lineup, as told by manager Josh White: Tanner Lynn, the left fielder, Hunter Zelasco, the shortstop, and Perkins, the third baseman. Trey Long, the right fielder, batting cleanup. The 1-2 in the dirt outside to the catcher Keegan Veely. Count is even at 2-2. At the 5 spot is the second baseman Aaron Lampin, and at the 6 spot is the first baseman Tate Brust. A 2-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. As Ryan Lynch gets his first strikeout of the afternoon here against Theron Perkins, the 3-hitter. Or it was against Hunter Zelasco. Now here is Theron Perkins, the third baseman. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. And a swing early on that one. In the 6th spot, the first baseman Tate Brust. The 7th spot is the catcher Tommy Lindgren, center fielder Cameron Austin, and the 9th spot is the designated hitter Ethan Jensen. The 0-1 pitch, a hard hit shot in the left field to the left fielder Nate Kane, and the Vikings got themselves a 2-out single in the bottom of the first. Here is Trey Long, the right fielder. The first time in a couple of games that he has started over there. And in the reserves for the Vikings, Bailey Corley, Caden Pattison, Xander Fogel, Colton Hogel, Chris Cashman, and Alex Keeley. First pitch. Strike 1 looking. And the 0-1. And a ball. Throw to first is not in time. Theron just getting there in time to stay safe. Count is even at 1-1.
Let's go, Trey. Come on now, Fiver. Base back.
And the 1-1 by Lynch. Strike 2 looking.
You good.
And the defensive positions for the Monroe Bearcats, as told by manager Eric Chartrand. On the mound is Ryan Lynch. Behind the plate is Keegan Veely. On the infield, third base is Grant Davis. Shortstop is Gage Kirshenman. The 1-2, runner goes. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that will end the bottom of the first. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. As Monroe will take a 2-0 lead after 1. Devin McWaters going back to the mound. Face off against the 9-1-2 hitters Nate Kane, Grant Davis, and Keegan Veely, after he threw 40 pitches in that first inning. 2-0 Monroe. And we are now back in the top of the second inning. Monroe still with a 2-0 lead. McWaters against the number 9 hitter Nate Kane, the starting left fielder. First pitch upstairs for a ball 1. McWaters in that first inning threw 20 balls for 20 strikes for 40 pitches total. The 1-0. Hard hit shot. This one getting into right center. And it'll be a leadoff single for Nate Kane in the top of the second. Now bring us to the top of the order, Grant Davis. Hit a payoff pitch to right center. That was one of the 2 runs that scored back in the top of the first inning. And McWaters, timeout by Grant. And Devin, first pitch. And that will hit Grant. That'll be the second hit batter for McWaters. Nate Kane going to second. There'll be a timeout by Lake Stevens. Josh White now warming up. They're going up to the mound. As it looks like Xander Fogel, his name was called. Yep, they're going to take McWaters out of the game. They're going to bring in Xander Fogel after only an inning plus for McWaters. We'll be right back here in the top of the second. Nobody out and 2 runners on for first and second. Monroe leads 2-0. And we are now back in the top of the second inning after only 10 batters. Devin McWaters is taken out of the game. It will be replaced by Xander Fogel, making his second consecutive appearance. First pitch, ball one outside as Veely tried to bunt the runners over. It's Nate Kane at second and Grant Davis at first. Currently Devin with 1+ inning of play, throwing 43 pitches, allowing 3 hits. The 1-0 tries bunting. This one fielded by Xander. And he's looking over at third and saw that Theron wasn't at the third base bag for him to throw to. And it'll be a bunt single for Keegan Veely. Now bring up Luke Klein, struck out swinging on an interesting result. Back in the top of the first. And Xander, first pitch. Outside, ball one. And currently for McWaters, 1+ innings, 43 pitches, 3 hits. Currently 2 earned runs, although that result may change. He walked 2 batters and struck out 3, hit 2 batters and threw a wild pitch. A very active first inning, the 1-0. Swing and a miss. And the runners will stay as the ball gets away from Tommy. Count is even at 1-1. And Xander, the 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And once again, Monroe in a situation with runners on base and nobody out. 1-2. The windup, the pitch. And a ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Xander in his 5th appearance, no wins and no losses, an ERA of 1.71, 7 innings and 5 hits, 5 earned runs. He has walked 5 batters and struck out 9 entering today. And the 2-2 by Xander, and a ball 3, full count. And Xander, payoff. Ball 4, and a run will come into the plate. It is now 3-0 Monroe. They'll bring up Andrew Haight. Got hit on a 2-2 pitch and was stranded at third. And Xander, first pitch outside, ball 1. A timeout by Lake Stevens here. And they're going to take Xander out of the game immediately. They're going to put in a third pitcher. Theron will be on the mound. Ethan Jansen coming in from the dugout to play third base. We're going to take another break after only 2 batters. We're going to bring in a third pitcher. We'll take another break here in the top of the second inning. as Monroe now has a 3-0 lead over Lake Stevens. And now we are back in the top of the second inning. Lake Stevens bringing in their third pitcher already in number 6, Theron Perkins. Monroe with the bases loaded and nobody out. They lead by 2, or they lead by 3-0. Throw to first, not in time. Try and get Luke Klein. Xander Fogel only facing 2 batters through 8 pitches, allowing a hit and a walk. And currently no earned runs, although that may change. Count is 1 ball and no strike. My mistake, 9 pitches. The 1-0 fly ball, that is playable. Going into foul territory. Tate Brust under it. And it just gets in the foul territory past the bullpen for Lake Stevens, past the first base line. Count is now even at 1-1.
Come on. All right, here we go.
Now Theron in his 4th game of the year, 0-2 with an ERA of 2.92. 7 2/3 innings, allowing 11 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 3 batters, struck out 4, and the 1-1 upstairs for a ball 2. And Theron, the 2-1. Ball 3. And Theron, the 3-1. Ball 4. And another run will score.
Start moving it around. Ask him. Let him, gotta get some feedback. Get some feedback so we can adjust.
And Monroe now leads by the score of 4-0, and that will be the end of the stat line for Devin McWaters, as he has allowed 4 earned runs. And the 2 batters that Xander faced are currently on base now. Keegan Bealey at third, Luke Klein at second. Here is Ryan Lynch, who struck out swinging. That one, fly ball. That one is out for a foul. Count starts at 0-1. Monroe getting a couple of lucky breaks there in the second inning, both on foul balls. Has a couple of them narrowly just got out of play, and then there's a couple of questionable calls behind the plate by the umpire. The 0-1 swing and a missed strike 2. And Theron, the 0-2, low, ball 1. And Theron, the 1-2, wind up chopper. This one going to the Monroe dugout.
Hey, keep battling 6. Let's go, Theron.
And Theron stepping off, the wind picking up here.
Come on, 6.
As you have a series of clouds that are moving up north. 1-2. And that will hit Ryan, and another run's going to score. And Ryan Lynch going to be pinch ran. Number 1, Jacob Sprague will be running for him at first base.
Talk to each other. Let's go. Second inning. Let's go, Theron. Let's go, 6.
And now the score is 5-0 Monroe. Here is Morgan Granich, who hit that 2-run bloop single that started it all in the top of the first. And Theron the first pitch. Strike one looking.
Hey, we need out. Yeah, nothing changes.
And Theron the windup 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike two. As Theron getting some traction off of Greenwich. And the 0-2 by Theron upstairs. Ball one. And the 1-2, swing and a miss, strike three. Theron striking out Morgan Greenwich for the first out in the top of the second inning after 7 batters. Now here is Hayden Comer, who has walked on 5 pitches, back in the top of the first. And the first pitch by Theron's ball one.
Get it down, apparently. Here we go. 6 right back to you. Flip to the plate. Come back.
And Theron the 1-0 outside. Theron started behind the count. As for Monday's result in the game between Cascade and Mariner ending in a 17-5 score, there was also a couple of other games as well, with Jackson winning at home in a surprisingly close game against Kamiak, the 2-0, strike one looking, and a 2-1 count. And then up north at Mount Vernon, Glacier Peak still searching for their first conference win as the Bulldogs beat them by a score of 8-4. Now the Bulldogs are traveling down to Snohomish to play at Glacier Peak High School. 2-1, swing and a miss, count is even at 2-2. There's also a defensive change in the infield for Theron, moving from third to the mound. It'll be Ethan Jansen, who will be walking away from his DH spot on the third. The 2-2. Swung on, ground ball, gets into the glove as Alasko, toss it to second, in time for the force out, but a run will score. It will be an RBI fielder's choice as Ryan Lynch is out at second. Alasko, he dove behind the bag, bobbled the ball, but was able to toss it to Aaron Lampeden in time. A run will score. It is now 6-0. Klein will score from third. Andrew Haight moving to third, and it'll bring up the 9th batter in the top of the second, Elijah Moore, who struck out looking to end the top of the first inning. And the first pitch, low, ball one. And a runner will go. Toss it home, it's not in time. The ball gets away from Lindgren, and Haight will score. It is now 7-0 Monroe as Comer will move to second. The 1-0, strike one looking. So now both runners that Xander Fogel faced, the 2 batters they have scored, so the two earned runs will be towards Xander's name. 1-1. Outside, ball 2. Monroe now with a runner at second base. That is the right fielder Hayden Comer. The 2-1. Ball 3.
It's a nice spot.
Let's go, Six. Come on, Theron. Let's go, Theron. Come on.
And Theron looking at Comer at second, the 3-1. Ball 4. And the home plate umpire not giving Lake Stevens a break here. As we now go to the 10th batter, back up to Nate Payne, who got a base hit that started the top of the second.
Let's go, Theron. Got a force on, go the easy way. Field.
Hey, you got 2 outs.
Come in.
And Theron the first pitch. Strike 1 looking.
Great pitch, Theron. Go, Six. Baby Theron. Come on, Theron.
And the 0-1 fly ball. Short fly ball. Tate Brust right next to the Lake Stevens dugout is under it. And that will end the top of the second inning. That is 5 runs off of 2 hits. No errors. And 2 runners left on. The score now Monroe 7. Lake Stevens nothing after an inning and a half. Ryan Lynch walking up to the mound, facing off against Aaron Lampinen, Tate Brust, and Tommy Lindgren. As Lake Stevens, they now trail by 7, and they have some work to do. And we are now back to the bottom of the second inning. I know you're looking at the timestamp right now. It's the bottom of the second inning. Monroe leading 7-0 over Lake Stevens. First pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 1 from Lynch to the second baseman, Aaron Lampinen. He'll be the first of 3 hitters. Lampinen, Tate Brust, and the catcher, Tommy Lindgren. And the 0-1, strike 2 looking. Lynch during the offseason slated to have a fastball around the high 80s, 87, 88, supposedly 90 plus. The 0-2 upstairs. Lost a little control of that fastball a little bit. And in the bottom of the first inning, Lynchy threw 4 balls for 11 strikes and 15 pitches. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. This third strikeout for Ryan Lynch. This afternoon, here is Tate Brust, the first baseman. As now we have an update from the Cascade Mariner game. Once again, thanks to the Cascade Baseball Twitter account of Cascade leading 5-0 at home against the Marauders. First pitch upstairs for a ball 1.
Not on your front foot. Let's go. Don't be jumpy. Let's go.
Hey, boy. Come on, Dad.
And the 1-0. Strike 2 looking.
We need those 2. Let's go right here. 9 and 10. Let's go right here. I'm not saying it's Let's go right now. You go.
And Lynch, the windup 1-1. Foul ball hits the leg of the catcher, Keegan Veely. Looks like the right leg, just above the catcher's protector, just right above the leg protector. And now he's walking up to the mound with Ryan Lynch alongside Grant Davis. As the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. When we saw the score from Monday's game between Cascade and Mariner, the game was tied at 5. It was a little bit of a scare there because Mariner entering today, they are 0-8. Entering Monday, they were 0-7. Cascade eventually won 17-5. But now is back to where we've gotten used to seeing Mariner play at, as they are trailing 5-0. You can almost argue that Mariner's comfortably numb in this position. The 1-2. Low, even 2 balls and 2 strikes for the rest of the defensive positions. At shortstop is Gage Kirshenman. Second base is Elijah Moore. First base is Andrew Haight. And on the outfield, starting off with Nate Payne. The 2-2, check swing, full count. The ball gets away from the catcher, Keegan Veely. At left field is Nate Payne. center field Luke Klein, and at right field is Hayden Comer, with Morgan Granich hitting for the shortstop Gage Kirshenman. Lynch, the first full count this afternoon payoff. Fly ball, that is going out foul. Yes, it will. As that'll hit the concrete right next to the fence on the other side of the on-deck circle. And the payoff pitch, a fly ball. This one going into short center field. Luke Klein running for it. He will make the catch as he runs all the way from center field into short right center. And will make the catch in the end of the bottom of the second. Here is Tommy Lindgren, the catcher. And Lynch wind up first pitch. Strike one looking. Lynch starting off with the fastball. And Ryan wind up 0-1. Hard hit ball. This one going into short center field. Luke Klein once again, his hat falls off, running for it, and will make the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Lynch in the bottom of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. As Theron Perkins walks back up to the mound in the top of the third as he looks to throw his first full inning of the afternoon. It will be Grant Davis, Keegan Veely, and Luke Klein, the first three hitters for Monroe, as they look to extend that 7-0 lead they have on the Lake Stevens Vikings. And we are now back in the top of the third inning. Monroe going back to the top of the order for the third time around. And for the first time against Theron Perkins, they'll start off with Grant Davis, the third baseman, who has scored in both plate appearances this afternoon. Theron, the first pitch. Strike one looking. And the 0-1 low count is even at 1-1 strike. Theron Perkins in that top of the second, throwing against 6 batters. He threw 11 balls for 13 strikes and 24 pitches total. And the 1-1, strike two looking on Davis. And the next game for both these teams, for Monroe, they're going to be traveling up north on Friday. They're going to play against the Mount Vernon Bulldogs, the 1-2. And that is a check swing as the ball bounces over the fence, just gets past the bleachers for Lake Stevens. And the count stays at 1-2. As Monroe going to be playing against Mount Vernon, the 1-2. Hard hit ball, this one going into center field, Cameron Austin. Moving a couple steps forward and backwards to make the first out. Now bring on Keegan Veely. He has also scored in both plate appearances entering today's game. And the first pitch there, and a ground ball. This one getting into the hole in right field. Now that ball getting away from Trey, but Keegan Veely is going to stay at first for a one-out single. Here is Luke Klein. As for Monroe's 5th hit in 2 1/3. And Mount Vernon currently playing against Glacier Peak as the Grizzlies are trying to get their first conference win of the season. Theron, first pitch. Lowe tries to bunt for it. That rolls foul towards the on-deck hitter, Andrew Haight. And the count starts at 0-1. And Lake Stevens on Friday, April 5th, are going to play also on the road. They're going to play at a 6 p.m. start time down at Kamiak High School. Throw to first, not in time. To try and get Keegan Veely. And the pitch, 0-1, upstairs, count is even.
Great spot at a bay. Is that up?
That one just hitting above the strike zone. Now Lake Stevens are going to be playing a 6 p.m. start time against the Kamiak Knights, a 1-1 foul ball. Count now at 1-2. And the Knights searching for their first conference win as well. They're going to be playing at home at a normal 4 p.m. start time against Jackson. 1-2 upstairs. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Kamiak, out of 8 teams, they are 7th place in the Wesco 4A Conference. For kind of an overall record, the 2-2, that is inside ball 3.
Come on. Are you flinching?
That is now the first full count 3-2 for Theron this afternoon. Gets the sign from Tommy, payoff. That's a strike 3 call. Throw to second. Is it in time? Yes, it is. What a throw by Tommy Lindgren. A strikeout. And then Tommy throws to the shortstop, Hunters Alasko, and that will end the top of the third. A 1-2-3 inning. They didn't know if that was the third out. There'll be no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. What a throw by Tommy Lindgren. As it'll be the first scoreless inning for the Monroe Bearcats to go into the bottom of the third. Ryan Lynch facing off against Cameron Austin, Ethan Jansen, and Tanner Lind going back to the top of the order for the second time around. Monroe, they lead by 7. And we are now back in the bottom of the third inning. Ryan Lynch looking pretty good so far through 2, has 3 strikeouts, allowing a base hit in the bottom of the first. He looks to continue that in the bottom of the third, starting with the center fielder, Cameron Austin. And the wind-up first pitch. Inside upstairs, ball 1. And Ryan throwing 4 balls and 9 strikes for 13 pitches. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 1. So Ryan Lynch throwing 28 pitches through 2 innings. Pretty good. 1-1. Upstairs, ball 2. And Lynch, the windup, 2-1. Inside, that's a strike 2. Cameron flinching away from that one, but the count is now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The scoreboard shows what should be the count, 3-1, and a screaming foul goes over the fence right behind the Lake Stevens bullpen. Count stays at 2-2. Wind up in the pitch. Another foul ball. Count stays at 2-2 for the first batter of the bottom of the third. Pitch from Cameron, outside, full count. And Lynch getting the sign from Keegan Veely, payoff. And as a strike 3 called, and Ryan Lynch freezing Cameron Austin for strikeout number 4. Here is Ethan Jansen, the designated hitter. And the first pitch. Strike 1 looking to Ethan. And the 0-1. And a foul ball, count now 0-2. And Ryan, the 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, strikes out Ethan Jansen for strikeout number 5. Now here is Tanner Lind, grounded out to the first baseman Andrew Haight in the bottom of the first inning. And Ryan, the first pitch, outside, ball 1. The 1-0, hard hit shot, that will go into left field, but it will lean foul as Nate Kane is running for it, but it bounces over the wall in left, right next to the bullpen. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Lynch, the 1-1. Strike 2. And Lynch, last year as a freshman, he went 2-5 with an ERA of 1.91. The 1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Ryan Lynch strikes out the side in the bottom of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. 7-0 Monroe over the Lake Stevens Vikings as we go into the top of the fourth there, and going back up to the mound, facing off against Andrew Haight, Ryan Lynch, and Morgan Greenwich. Again, 7-0 Monroe over Lake Stevens in the top of the fourth. And we are now back in the top of the fourth. Theron Perkins back on the mound. He'll face off against the middle of the order, starting with the first baseman, Andrew Haight. And the first pitch by Theron. First pitch, a strike 1. As Haight's bunting for it. And have brought it back just a little too early. And the count starts with 0-1. Theron the pitch. Foul ball. His defense behind home plate count is 0-2. So Ryan Lynch, last season, he went 2-5 with an ERA of 1.91. He threw 40 and a third innings, which led the team at 32 hits, 11 earned runs. He walked 17 batters and struck out 36. He's already on point to exceed that strikeout mark this year. And the 0-2, a foul. And a golf shot past the Lake Stevens bleachers. And the 0-2 by Theron. Ground ball to the Monroe dugout. And Theron still with an 0-2 count. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Theron getting his third strikeout of the afternoon against Andrew Haight. Here is Ryan Lynch, the pitcher. He is excelling on the mound. At the plate, not so much. He is 0 for 1, striking out in the first and got hit in the second inning and then got out on an RBI fielder's choice by Hayden Comer. First pitch, fly ball, foul.
Heads. Tommy.
Count starts at 0-1. The 0-1, a foul ball. Lands right next to the backstop, count 0-2. And Theron, the 0-2, ball 1, just under. And the 0-2, another foul. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the 1-2 swing and a miss. Tommy throwing to first, and it gets out Ryan Lynch. Strikeout number 4 on the afternoon for Theron Perkins. And there is Morgan Granich, 1 for 2 with that 2-run single in the top of the first. And then was the first strikeout victim from Theron back in the top of the second. Now we have an update, Cascade and Mariner. Cascade leading 9-1. First pitch, a fly ball. This one going in the left and short left center field. That will fall between Tanner Lind and Cameron Austin. Morgan Granich with another bloop single, this time in the no man's land in left center field instead of right center. Now we have Hayden Comer, who was 0 for 1 with a walk and a fielder's choice in the second inning. And Theron, the first pitch, ground ball. This one getting to Zalasko. Nice backhanded slide to make the pick. Tosses it to second, and it will be in time. Another fielder's choice by Comer, and it will end the top of the fourth. It'll be no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Score still 7-0. Ryan Lynch throwing 43 pitches through 3 innings. He'll face off against Hunter Zalasko, Theron Perkins, and Trey Long in the 2, 3, and 4 spots of the batting order as Monroe still leads by 7. And we are now back into the bottom of the 4th inning. Ryan Lynch back on the mound for Monroe. Hunter Zalasko for the second time around back at the plate. He struck out swinging on 5 pitches in his last plate appearance. And Lynch, a really good job so far, picking up where he left off against Glacier Peak last week. The first pitch, tries bunting for it, inside, ball 1. Nope, that will hit Hunter. As he tried bunting for it, and it looks like he couldn't get out of the way, and he got hit. That is the team high 7th time this year that he has been hit. Theron, first pitch low for a ball 1. Zalasko, the first base runner for the Lake Stevens Vikings since the bottom of the first inning with Theron. Throw to first, not in time. And the 1-0 by the sophomore. Hard hit ball. This one going into center field. Back goes Klein, the center fielder, who makes the catch. Zalasko going back to first. A well-hit ball by Theron. Doesn't go far enough. Here is Trey Long, the right fielder. Struck out swinging on 4 pitches to end the bottom of the first. And let's throw the first. Uh-oh, Zalasko's in a rundown. Andrew Haight tossing it to Kirschman at the shortstop. Running away from Kirschman, tries tagging, throws to Ryan Lynch. He drops the baseball, and Zalasko is safe at first. Ryan Lynch tried fielding the ball from Kirschman, and he drops the ball. And Hunter Zalasko almost gets out in a rundown for the second out of the fourth. And Trey yet to see a pitch in the bottom of the fourth. Ryan steps off. And Ryan, first pitch, tries bunting for it. A fly ball, and that will land with 3 Monroe players running after it. The catcher, Keegan Veely, the first baseman, Andrew Hayden, the pitcher, Ryan Lynch. And the count will start at 0-1 as Trey tried to bunt Hunter over to second. Kamiak currently playing at home in Mukilteo against the Jackson Timberwolves. Jackson, they're still undefeated in conference play at 3-0. Kamiak winless in conference play at 0-3. Throw to first, not in time. As Kamiak currently 1-8 overall. Last season they finished 4-16 with 3 of those wins going in Wesco play. The 0-1 swing and a missed strike 2. And it was Kamiak and Mariner who both did not go to the playoffs last season. In fact, the last time that the Kamiak Knights went to the playoffs was in 2014. The 0-2. A ground ball. This one getting into the glove of Kirschman, who bobbles the ball, but is able to touch the second base bag for 1. Throw the first is not in time. Trey is safe on a fielder's choice. Kirschman, he had the ball right next to the bag. He bobbles it, but is able to touch the second base bag cleanly. And the throw to the first baseman, Andrew Haight, is not in time. Trey is at first with 2 outs for Aaron Lampinen, who struck out swinging in the second inning. And Ryan Lynch first pitch upstairs for a ball 1. And for the 2 teams that haven't played so well in the Wesco 4A Conference, Kamiak and Mariner. The last time Mariner went to the Wesco playoffs, that was back in 2011. The 1-0 hard hit ball. This one going foul. Landing over the fence right next to the Lake Stevens bleachers. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Aaron. So after 3 innings now, Cascade leads by 9, 10-1. The 1-1 foul ball, it's a fence. Count is 1-2. And the 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Did he go? He did. That's a strike 3. And that will end the 4th inning as Trey Long tried to steal second. It'll be no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on. As we now go into the top of the 5th. Theron back on the mound, facing off against Elijah Moore, Nate Kane, and Grant Davis for the 4th time around at the top of the order. As Elijah Moore and Nate Kane coming up to the plate for the 3rd time this afternoon. We go into the top of the 5th real shortly with Lake Stevens trailing Monroe 7-0. And we are now back into the top of the 5th inning. Theron Perkins, he has thrown 48 pitches entering the 5th inning. He'll face off against the 8-hitter Elijah Moore, who has yet to get a base hit. He is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch, a strike 1 looking. Also going to correct something here, is the last time that Kamiak went to the postseason, it was 2013. And the 0-1 low for a ball. And the home plate umpire not a big fan of Lake Stevens pitching today, with a lot of close calls going Monroe's way. The 1-1, strike 2 looking. So for Kamiak, the Vikings' next opponent, the last time that they went into the playoffs was in 2013 when they had a different tournament format. The first opponent that they faced was the Lake Stevens Vikings here at Lake Stevens High School. The 1-2 fly ball. That is going out for a foul as it lands right next to the Lake Stevens dugout. As the tournament format at that time, it was double elimination with teams from the Wesco 4A North and 4A South playing, where they lost to Lake Stevens 6-5. They ended a couple of team season in Arlington and Monroe. And the 1-2 check swing outside. Ball 2. They'll face off against the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Elijah Moore, Nate Kane, and Grant Davis. They beat Arlington 8-2, Monroe 5-1, but then lost to the Cascade Bruins 8-2 and had their season come to an end. The 2-2 swing and a missed strike three. And that is strikeout number 5 on the afternoon for Theron Perkins. Here is Nate Kane, the left fielder. Got a base hit and popped out to Tate Brust. He was 1 for 2 in the second inning alone. First pitch low for a ball 1. And due to the amount of pitching that has been used, Friday's probable starter against Kamiak would be Xander Fogel, his first start in a couple of weeks. The 1-0 inside, ball 2. And the 2-0, strike 1 looking. And the 2-1, outside low. Ball gets away from Tommy again, ball 3. The 3-1, and a strike 3 called. Wait a minute. And the count was 3-1. The home plate umpire just signaled that it was a strike 3. Now it's a full count. Yeah. Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. A little early reaction there by the home plate umpire. That is the 3rd time that he has gotten the count messed up. This is one of the more interesting games I've seen in a while. Theron first pitch to Grant Davis, ball 1 outside. This is actually just baffling me, the amount of times that he missed a count, and I mean, not to mention the amount of pitches that went Monroe's way, but just the amount of times he missed a count alone just needs some review. Throw to first is not in time to try and get Noah Kane or Nate Kane. I just don't think I've ever seen that before. Someone who missed the count that much. Now there's a runner at first. And the 1-0, hard hit shot that just gets foul away from the glove of Tate Brust down the first base line.
Let's go 6.
Count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Theron, strike 2 looking. And as for Kamiak, the Vikings' next opponent, since they went to the playoffs in 2013, they have switched seasons where they were either 6-14 or 7-13 since then. And that last season was actually the worst season they had in a while. The 1-2 low, ball 2, count is even. It was actually the worst season they had in a while. They switched. It was 6-14 in 2015, then 7-13 in 2015, and then 6-14 again in 2016, and then 7-13 again in 2017. And then last year was their worst year in a while. They went 4-16 again. 2-2 in the dirt. Ball gets away from Tommy as Kane goes to second. And the count is now full. Timeout by Lake Stevens.
Let's go 6.
As Tommy walks up to the plate again. Full count 3-2. And the pitch. Low, ball 4. Monroe with runners on first and second now. This is the 7th walked batter for Monroe. Timeout by Lake Stevens. Theron, after that second inning, had a pretty decent run too. Top of the third, get guys out on a strikeout and a throw out to second. And then allowed a guy on first in the top of the fourth. Pretty quick innings. Top of the fifth doesn't look like it's going to turn out that way as well with a back-to-back walks to Nate Kane and Grant Davis. But he does have a shot of getting out of this, knowing that he has the ability to strike out batters as well. He has struck out 5 since his appearance back on the top of the second.
Ethan, well, step off, please.
And Theron stepping off.
Go, Theron. Go, 6. Go. Theron stood out.
With runners on first and second, fly ball that is playable. That is in foul territory. Aaron Lampinen and Tate Brust running for it, and that will hit the fence of the Lake Stevens dugout. Count will start at 0-1. Tate looked like he was there, and Aaron from second base started running. Tried to slide to get it. And it was after he slid a little early there that it was evident that the ball wasn't going to be in anybody's glove. Count's going to start at 0-1. And the pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And as for the guys who are returning from that 4-16 Kamiak team, statistically they are not good. The only guy that is returning that has any bit of merit is a guy by the name of Bryce Code, who played in all 20 games. A timeout by Keegan, as he was the only guy with a batting average over 300, a 340 average. There's a few guys, 242, 211, 217, and a couple of guys with batting averages just under the Mendoza line, 179, 182, 163 returning. That'll be in the lineup. 1-1, foul ball. Cat is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nate Kane at second, Grant Davis at first, a 1-2. And a ball 2. Nice pitch by Theron, but once again the count is even. Two, fly ball. That's a foul over the fence. And Theron getting the sign from Tommy. And it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Theron Perkins getting Keegan Veely swing. That is the 6th strikeout. Now bring up Luke Klein, who struck out the last time up against Theron. And now because it's the upcoming West King tournament, we will also be looking at the Kinko standings. First pitch outside, ball 1, as teams from Wesco will play alongside teams from the Kinko Conference in the upcoming tournament in May. Starting off tied for first place once again, Inglemoor and Eastlake. Eastlake recently ranked as the best team in the state of Washington for 4A. They are 6-1 with an 8-1 record. Inglemoor 6-1 in conference play with a 7-2 record. Theron looking at second, 1-0. Chopper, this one going to Zelasco, who tosses it to Aaron Lampinen at second. And that will end the top of the 5th inning. It'll be no runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on. The score still 7-0 Monroe over Lake Stevens. Ryan Lynch back on the mound in the bottom of 5. That'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Tate Bruss, Tommy Lindgren, and Cameron Austin as we go into the bottom of the 5th. Again, the score, Monroe 7, Lake Stevens 0. And we are now back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ryan Lynch against Tate Bruss. First pitch, well hit for a foul. To start off the inning, Ryan Lynch, he's thrown 53 pitches through 4 innings of play. He'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Tate Bruss, Tommy Lindgren, and Cameron Austin, all for the second time around against the sophomore right-hander. And the windup in the 0-1. Swing and a miss. A foul tip into the glove of Keegan Veely.
Let's go, Tate.
And the windup 0-2. Outside, ball 1. Ryan Lynch entering the 5th inning with 7 strikeouts, bringing it to a total of 29 on the year for him. The 1-2. Outside, ball 2. And the 2-2 by Ryan. Upstairs, ball 3, full count. And Lynch wind up in the payoff pitch. Foul ball, heading over the fence.
Oh, off the light pole.
Well, it looks like it just got off of the light pole right next to the newly constructed parking lot behind home plate. Payoff by Ryan. Foul. Chopper fielded by Veely. Throw to first is in time. For the first out, it lands in fair territory, right in front of home plate. For the first out in the bottom of the 5th, here is Tommy Lindgren.
Camp. 2.
Ryan Lynch, first pitch, check swing, strike 1. And the swing and a miss, strike 2 for the 0-2 count. So for the Kinko standings, the same thing, Inglemoor and Eastlake. Skyline currently solely at 3rd with a 6-2 overall record and 5-1, the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 8 for Ryan Lynch and 30 on the year for the sophomore. Now bring up Cameron Austin, struck out looking back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And now at the 9th spot, Bailey Corley on deck. The pinch hitting for Ethan Jansen. First pitch, a foul chopper. And for the next 3 spots, the 4, 5, and 6 spots, Redmond, Bothell, and Issaquah, all with identical 4-3 conference records. 0-2, strike 2 looking. With Redmond 6-3, Bothell and Issaquah, or Bothell 5-4, Issaquah 4-4. I thought they both had 5-4 records there. And the final spot would go to the Mount Si Wildcats, 3-5 overall, 3-4 in conference play. The 0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 9 for Ryan Lynch as he goes to another 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on the score. Still 7-0 Monroe over the Vikings. Theron Perkins. And going over to third base, Tate Bruss will be the new pitcher for the Lake Stevens Vikings, and making his first appearance this year at first base will be Bailey Corley,
I got right.
as he was cleared to play first after he injured his arm during inter-squad before the season started. It'll be only a matter of time before he'll get back on the mound. He had a couple of appearances last season, but for right now, we'll get into the top of the 6th inning. Tate Brust will face off against the middle of the order, Andrew Haight, Ryan Lynch, and Morgan Greenwich, as Monroe still leads now 7-0. And we are now back into the top of the 6th inning. A new pitcher for the Lake Stevens Vikings, the 4th one of the afternoon in Tate Brust. Also brings up a couple defensive changes as well. Theron Perkins back at third, and once again playing at first base will be number 34, Bailey Corley. First pitch, a foul ball to Andrew Haight. And Tate Brust pitching in his 2nd game, no wins, no losses, an ERA of 7, throwing only 1 inning, allowing 2 hits, an earned run, no walks, and striking out 1 batter. And the 0-1. Hard hit ball, this one going in the left. Tanner going back, it'll be foul. Count starts at 0-2. Tate Brust facing off against Andrew Haight, Ryan Lynch, and Morgan Greenwich. And the 0-2 by Tate. Hard hit ball, this one going in the short right field. Lampinen and Trey Long going for it. And a diving play by Trey Long in short right field. Results in the first down at the top of the 6th. And here is Ryan Lynch, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He got hit by a pitch. So Theron Perkins finishing off a really solid outing in relief. 4 innings, 73 pitches, 2 hits, an earned run, and a first pitch low ball one to Lynch. Has walked 4 batters and struck out 6. Meanwhile, he threw 2 wild pitches. A really solid job in relief by Theron. And the 1-0. Low ball 2. And so for the 3 teams that would be out for the Kinko standings, Newport at 1-5, North Creek at 1-6. Woodinville still winless in conference play. The 2-0, a golf shot for a foul. I'm sorry, I've said this multiple times throughout the year. I still cannot believe that Woodinville is winless. I do not expect Woodinville to be anywhere less than decent in any of their sports teams. It's just shocking to me. The 2-1, ball 3, because for the results, because they also played on Monday as well. Skyline beating Mount Si 8-7. Issaquah beating Redmond 6-5. That's a surprising score. What's not surprising is Eastlake, the best team in the state supposedly, beating Newport 12-3. Bothell shutting out North Creek. Inglemore shutting out Woodinville in the process as well. Inglemore, I think, is a team that people are sleeping on because recently they have not been good. A couple of years ago, I think they only had 4 wins. Now they've doubled that. And the 3-1 low for a ball 4. As Ryan Lynch walks to first base with an out in the top of the 6th, and they'll be pinch running him again. Once again, it'll be Jacob Sprague. First time since the 2nd inning when he got out on a fielder's choice hit by Hayden Comer, who's currently on deck. And they switch up the matchups every time. It's not like the Westco Conference for Kinko. First pitch, ground ball getting into the glove of Zelasco. Toss it to Lampinen. Throw to first. Did he do it again? Yes, he did! Hunter Zelasco pick it up where he left off back on Monday in a play very similar. He dove for it right near the bag. Toss it to Lampinen, and this time threw it to Bailey Corley as he caught it to his right. What a play by Hunter Zelasco. And that will end the top of the 6th inning. It'll be no runs on no hits, no errors, nobody left on. And a great outing by Tate Brust on the mound. Ryan Lynch, he has thrown 66 pitches through 5. As he'll face off against the 9-1-2 hitters, Bailey, Corley, Tanner Lind, and Hunter Zelasco, as the Vikings at least are trying to avoid not getting shut out here in the bottom of the 6th. And we are now back in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ryan Lynch back on the mound. Will face off against the pinch hitter Bailey Corley at the 9th spot. First pitch, swing and a miss. Lynch will face off against Bailey Corley, Tanner Lind, and Hunter Zelasco. And they're in the bottom of the 6th, the 0-1. Low, ball 1. Count is even. So the pitch totals for Ryan Lynch entering this inning: 15 pitches in the first, 13 in the second, 15 in the third, 10 in the fourth, and 13 in the fifth. The 1-1, strike 2 looking.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, Bailey. Go be core. Come on now, kid. Let's go now, Bailey. You got to protect now. Come on, Bailey. Yep, you're good. Let's go, Bailey.
And the 1-2, and a foul ball hits the backstop. Bailey getting a piece of that one. Bailey got a base hit in Monday's game as a pinch hitter.
Let's go 3 for him, yep.
Count stays at 1-2. Ryan Lynch shaking off a sign, getting one from Keegan Veely behind the plate. The 1-2. And a slow chopper. This one fielded by Lynch. Throw to first is in time. As we'll get him for the first out. Now we go to the top of the order for the third time around. Tanner Lindy is 0 for 2. Grounding out to the first baseman Andrew Hayden, striking out swinging in the third inning. And Ryan Lynch the first pitch inside for a ball 1.
Got 10 hairs on, baby. What's that?
And the 1-0. And low for a ball 2. And the 2-0. Foul ball. This one going over the fence again for 2 balls and 1 strike. A lot of baseballs are going over the fence behind home plate. And just all over the area. The 1-2. And a strike 2 looking. By mistake, the 2-1. Now it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Ryan Lynch, for the second consecutive start, has thrown double-digit strikeouts. He has 10 on the afternoon. So we now go to Hunter Zelasco, 0 for 1, striking out and getting hit. It'll be Theron Perkins and Tate Bruss, the only 2 hitters who have not struck out against Ryan Lynch. First pitch outside, ball 1. And the 1-0. Low for a ball 2. And the 2-0. Chopper. This one going to Gage Kirschenman, the shortstop. Throw to first is, he gets off of the plate, but he tags Zelasco, so he's in time. And it'll be a timeout as the first baseman, Andrew Haight, supposedly the ball was on the ground. So it'll be an error on the shortstop, Gage Kirschenman. The first baseman, Andrew Haight, he caught the ball while he was off the bag, and it looked like he tagged Zelasco, but then shortly after Zelasco got past the bag, the ball fell on the ground. So what could have been the end of the inning now is an error by the shortstop, Gage Kirschenman. The first pitch to Theron Perkins is a ball 1. He is 1 for 2 with the Vikings' only base hit back in the bottom of the first. Throw to first, not in time. And the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
Boy, you're on it, kid. Let's Got third. Piece one up. Let's go, kid. Come on now, third.
Count even at 1-1. Velasco at first base. The pitch by Lynch. Hard hit ball. This one going into right center, and it will fall. Velasco right into third, and there'll be runners on the corners as Theron Perkins is 2 for 3. And now here is Trey Long, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fielder's choice. And while Lake Stevens are going to be playing Kamiak on Friday, a team that hasn't been good in recent years, Monroe, they're going to play against Mount Vernon, a team that has been. First pitch, a ground ball. This will get into the second baseman, who throws it to first in time to end the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on. The score still Monroe 7, Lake Stevens nothing. As Tate Bruss walks back up to the mound in the top of the 7th. He'll face off against the bottom 3 hitters, Hayden Comer, Elijah Moore, and Nate Kane. The score still Monroe 7, Lake Stevens nothing. And we're now back into the top of the 7th inning. Tate Bruss back on the mound, aiming to pitch his second full inning of work. He'll face off against the 7-hitter Hayden Comer, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of fielders' choices. First pitch is a strike one looking. Tate only throwing 9 pitches against 3 batters in the top of the 6th. And the 0-1, a check swing ball that will fall fair. Tommy picking it up. Throw to first is in time. It was a check swing, and Comer thought it was foul. He reacted to it for a couple of seconds. The ball fell fair, and Tommy then picked it up and threw it to the first baseman, Bailey Corley, for the first out. Now we go to Elijah Moore. First pitch by Tate. Hard hit ball. This one going in the left field. Tanner going back. Tanner, glove is up, and he makes the catch. 3 pitches and 2 outs for Tate Bruss. Here is Nate Kane, the left fielder. A single in the 2nd inning, and a pop out to Tate in foul territory also in that 2nd inning. And then was walked in the 5th on a full count, and then got a wild pitch, moved him to second. First pitch, outside, ball 1. So while Lake Stevens will be playing against the Kamiak Knights, Monroe is going to be playing against a Mount Vernon team that is expected to be better than what they were last season. 1-0. Hard hit ball. This one going over the glove of the shortstop, Hunter Velasco. And Noah Kane's got himself his 2nd single. Now he's thinking about second, but he stays at first. And Nate Kane has got his 2nd single here in the top of the 7th. Now we go to the top of the order for the 5th time around, Grant Davis. As Mount Vernon, they only have graduated 4 of their guys, and they have kept their ace pitcher, Riley Olmstead, in, as he's been on their pitching staff since freshman year. First pitch. Low for a ball 1. Ball gets away from Tommy, as a number of people had a late reaction to that. Unfortunately, one of those guys was Nate Kane at first, and he's staying at first base. Count starts at 1-0. And the 1-0, outside, ball 2. And Mount Vernon, once again, they are playing over at Snohomish against Glacier Peak. They are still undefeated in conference play. 2 balls and no strikes. Tate looking at first throw. There's outside, ball 3. And in the games today, in the Kinko Conference, Newport still trying to get up in that top 7, playing Issaquah. The 3-0 is ball 4. As there will be runners on first and second for Monroe again. Here is Keegan Veely, 2 for 3 with 2 runs. As the games that will be played today in the Kinko 4A Conference, Newport, Issaquah, Inglemore against North Creek, Skyline against Eastlake, Woodinville and Bothell, and Redmond against Mount Si, with the Eastlake game playing at 6, Bothell and Mount Si games both playing at 7. As the majority of their conference games were played late at night, time out by Lake Stevens. With Tommy getting a quick word with Tate Bruss. Keegan Veely, again, he is 2 for 3 with 2 runs, both in the first inning and the second inning. Got a base hit in the third inning, but was thrown out to end the top of the third, then scored on a walk in the top of the first, and then struck out swinging from Theron in the top of the fifth. First pitch, a foul ball, hits the fence. Count starts at 0-1. Count starts at 0-1. Tate Bruss, the pitch. Gets away from Tommy. Runners will advance on a wild pitch. Grant Davis the second. Nate Kane the third. A count at 1-1. Pitch by Tate. Ball 2. Yeah, another questionable call. And a 2-1. Ball 3. Three balls and 1 strike now. Tate to Keegan Veely as the calls keep getting missed. The 3-1 foul ball goes over the fence. Count is full.
That's still in here, right? Yeah. You got it? Hey, make a play. Here we go. Go get him, man. Go get him.
Full count, Tate. Runners on second and third, inside, ball 4. And the bases are loaded again for Luke Klein, who is 0 for 3 with a bases loaded walk in the second inning. And Tate the first pitch. And a ball 1. It's a guy from Monroe warming up in the bullpen, Morgan Granich, who has spent the majority of this series away from the field. The 0-1. This is a fly ball to center field. Cameron Austin is under it and will make the catch to end the top of the 7th. And no runs will score on 1 hit. No errors and 3 runners left on. The score, Lake Stevens 0, Monroe 7. As we go into the bottom of the 7th inning, Ryan Lynch aiming to throw a complete game shutout. He'll face off against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters of Aaron Lampinen, Tate Bruss, and Tommy Lindgren as the Bearcats lead 7-0. And we are now back into the bottom of the 7th inning. Ryan Lynch, he has thrown 83 pitches through 6 innings and is aiming for a complete game shutout. First pitch to Aaron Lampinen, a pop fly going right near the foul line. The shortstop, Gage Kirshenman, making the catch at the third base spot right next to Grant Davis for the first out in the bottom of the 7th. Here is Tate Bruss, who is 0 for 2. And Lynch the first pitch. Ball 1. And the 1-0. Tate. Fly ball for a foul. Count is even. At 1 ball and 1 strike. Count is even, getting the sign from Keegan Veely. 1-1. Hard hit shot. This one going into left field. Nate Kane is under it and will make the catch for the second out. Brian Lynch now with 87 pitches through 6 2/3. Here is Tommy Lindgren, 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Lynch the first pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. And Lynch the windup in the 0-1. Strike two.
Let's go, Tommy. Let's go, 3. Come on, Tomar. You got it, baby. Come on, Tommy.
And Lynch now with 89 pitches through 6 2/3. Here's 90, the 0-2. Strike 3 called. And on 90 pitches, Ryan Lynch with 11 strikeouts has thrown a complete game shutout on the road against the Lake Stevens Vikings. The final score: Monroe 7, Lake Stevens nothing. Monroe, they were able to split the series and take a lead in the margin, in the run margin, if in the situation if these two teams are tied, with Lake Stevens finishing with a 6-4 overall record, and they still fall under 500 with a 1-3 conference record. While for the Monroe Bearcats, they now have a 3-1 conference record for a total of and a 7-3 overall record. The next game for both of these teams, the Lake Stevens Vikings, will be playing against the Kamiak Knights on the road, 6 p.m. at Kamiak High School. The first time that Lake Stevens will be playing under the lights at a later start time, while the Monroe Bearcats will play on the road against the Mount Vernon Bulldogs, a team that has also been playing pretty well so far in conference play. So again, the final score: Monroe 7, Lake Stevens nothing. The winning pitcher is Ryan Lynch, who might be the future from the Monroe Bearcats, and the sophomore right-hander. He is now 4-0. The losing pitcher is Devin McWaters, who is now 1-2. Here at Lake Stevens High School, now partly cloudy and an even 6 p.m. My name is Payne Patchett, and you have been listening to Lake Stevens Vikings Varsity Baseball.